Hey everyone, John here. In this video, I'm going to go over my strategy to learn how to code as fast as possible so I can use it to trade and apply it at my current workplace. So I have kind of shared my strategy in the past few videos, but it's threefold. So it's to read, write, and generate code. In the past, it used to be just read and write code, but I guess in 2024, you could read, write, and generate code. I'll share my method of using Chatgpt to do that. So let's go over it. 5-minute report, enhanced coding learning strategy. So this report outlines a rapid learning strategy for coding. It combines reading, writing, and generating code with the help of large language models to maximize understanding and retention in minimal time. So what's my structured plan? Short-term goals, I need to master syntax, basic operations, and core libraries, and that's going to be about 2 to 3 weeks. In the medium term, I'm going to try to develop proficiency with data structures, algorithms, and problem solving. And in the long term, I'm going to be working on real-world projects and build a portfolio of like an investment portfolio. All the work that I'm doing for coding is going to be applied in my 1K to 10K challenge portfolio. But yeah, so concurrently reading, writing, and generate code. So what's my structure right now? 20 to 30% of my time learning is spent reading code. So what I would do is I currently have different projects that I'm working on. So my first project that I'm working on is building that ensemble stacking model. And then the second one, that's kind of my short-term project, is building myself a equity research email. And I'll show you what the progress is on that. But what I would do is I would try to generate code if I get stuck, and I read over the code to see how good code works. ChatGPT 4.0 generates pretty good code, I've noticed. And based off of the reading, I've been able to pick up some structures. So how to define a function, what are some good principles, how does commenting work, things like that. But yeah, like after a little bit of time, I've noticed that I've been able to start to be able to read code. ChatGPT breaks down each line of code, and it really does show the new patterns. And I try to make a habit. Obviously, in this code, I'm writing it myself, so I don't really have any comments. But I should probably get on that at some point. But yeah, so that's the first piece, and that's 20 to 30% of my time. And then I write code. So the way I do that is I go on this website called Python. Learn how to become a modern Python developer, roadmap.sh.python. So what I would do is I would take a screenshot of any of these items. So for example, if I wanted to learn data structures and algorithms, I would take a pic of that, and then I would paste it into ChatGPT. And then I have this prompt that I use. I'll put the prompt in the comments. And what it does is it basically gives me a course that I can use to literally make just like I just go through it. So it even has like a practice problem and then what the output's supposed to be. And I know if the output's not right, I'm definitely doing something wrong, right? So that's how I'm learning how to write code. And then I also try to practice writing code on my own without the help of ChatGPT when I can. So this is some code that I've been able to kind of patch together without the help of ChatGPT. So like I even have some of this code here where I'm kind of practicing generating or practicing building my own functions that I can call upon. So here I call upon the Gemini model. I try practicing this thing, refresh the TMX data. So if I run this code, I can pull this spreadsheet automatically, so I don't have to keep going online and doing it myself. So that's some code that I've managed to write with the help of nothing, essentially. The other one is this code refreshing the TSX data, which is basically just pulling a certain column with all the tickers from the spreadsheet. And then also, I've been able to create a random ticker generator. So I'll explain how that works with the equity research email project that I'm working on. So in this main project, what I'm trying to do is get an understanding of the market a little bit more. So every day, basically, I'm trying to make this program or this script send me an email with the equity research report that I can look at, just to get a sense of the different companies, because I'm planning to invest in all 700 or like 700 different stocks. So if I want to be able to filter those 700 stocks to maybe 40 stocks, I should probably know all the 700, right? So I'm not just picking and choosing from what I know. I'm picking and choosing from the whole 700 stock universe that I'm looking at, right? So this code basically just uses Y Finance API. And it just gets the ticker info, some sector info, industry description, target price, some valuation ratios, some profitability metrics, some growth metrics, some liquidity ratios, historical price data, and some dividend information. And then I just build this report. So it would just be like, print the company name, print the ticker, print the current date, what's the last close, what's the 1 year target based off of equity research analyst, and what was the dividend yield over the last couple of months. So that's nice to know. And then, yeah, like trailing PE, forward PE, PEG ratio. Those are just ratios that I'm looking at because I'm a growth at a reasonable price investor. So knowing that is nice. And then I kind of just use the Gemini Pro model. So the Gemini 1.5 Pro. Shout out James, man. You owe me some money for my Claude 3. This guy's abusing my Anthropic key. But I've been using Gemini Pro because they gave me like a free, what do you call it? Like a free trial for a couple months. So I can abuse Gemini Pro. But yeah, so I have a prompt. Give me a business for the business description. I have a prompt for the company overview. I have a prompt for the financial analysis. Right now, I'm just looking at ROE, but I'm going to be adding from this stack up here. Depending on the day, I'm going to be choosing like, okay, I want to look at the PEG ratio, compare the PEG ratio, things like that. And then an investment thesis and an investment risk, just to see what the AI thinks about like certain stocks. And then obviously, like over time, I'm going to be reading a bunch of these, and slowly but surely I'll get through all of the 700 stocks, because right now I'm kind of just like I gravitate towards like the TSX 60s, the banking, the oil and gas, the mining, the forest and paper products type of investment, because I'm a Canadian. That's like our national sectors. Right? But yeah, let me show you the other thing that I've been working on. So I've managed to generate this report that pretty much pulls, let me see if I could show you this, but I have this code that I managed to generate. I think this was actually written or generated. I'm not sure. But what it does is it pulls like a bunch of fundamental ratios for me, And then I can look at all the fundamental ratios all in one go. I don't have to like go on Yahoo Finance. So for example, if you go on Yahoo Finance, right? Yahoo Finance is my favorite site. So you would go, okay, Yahoo Finance, what's the beta, what's the PE ratio, what's the 1 year target? And then you'd have to go through like every ticker. I managed to automate that. So I'll show you that. So what I do is I run this code. Oh, I don't know why it does that. Why does it always not run the current file? Like every time I open it, I always pull Apple or like something funny. But yeah, so what this code does is it pulls all the tickers from like the universe, and there's some tickers that don't show up. So that's what you're seeing here right now. Eventually, I don't know, I'll fix it, right? I'll fix it. But I get through like 500 different stocks already, or I get data on like more than 500 different stocks. So let me show you what that looks like. Scripts, API calls, prompts. Where did I put it? Company profiles. I'm trying to make this more structured, but I mean, it's not working out. TSX fundamentals. Let me open that in, where is it? New, open. Why can't I open it? Open in file path. TSX fundamentals, then TSX fundamentals. But yeah, this is like my way of just getting a sense of the universe. So I managed to automate this to this point, right? So now if I wanted to know, whoa, did that make sense? The dividend yield 634, but let me make this nicer. What? Is this a string? Weird. But yeah, weird. I don't know how that's working out. But yeah, so I pull all this information in, and then I could get a sense of each company. So what's their market cap? Let me make it easy. So I try to get a sense of what their market cap is, what their betas are, what's their PE, what's their dividend yield, what's their 52-week high, 52-week low, ROE, debt to equity, current ratio. Those are kind of the ratios that I'll look at. Eventually, I'm going to add more and more ratios to this, but for now, this is what is important to me. And then obviously, like I'm looking at the standard growth at a reasonable price ratios through this. So for example, how I would be using this email is, so let me generate this. So it would generate a random ticker based off of the global market cap weight. So that's what the random ticker is doing. So it would say like, let's say in my current, in the 700 stock universe or 500 stock universe, each one would be assigned a weight. And I would receive a equity research report kind of, or like a business overview report and some valuation metrics and some financial analysis, some investment thesis and some investment risk based off of like its market cap. So like the bigger the market cap of the company, the more likely I am to see it. So yeah, like if the company is very small, I guess I'm going to see it less, which makes sense, right? To me, because I'm not too into the like small cap stocks yet. But yeah, so this is what the report would show. So it would show the company name, it would show the symbol, what the date is, what the price is, what the target 1 year is based off of just median analyst expectations. And then it would show the PE, 21.62, and then the forward PE, which is 18.68, and a PEG ratio of 3.01, which is not good. Like you want to target 1. Enbridge, so it just gives like a brief business description. So its core business is transportation of crude oil and liquid products across Eastern Canada and the Midwest. It would give me like a company overview and some financial analysis. So right now, like I said, I'm just looking at ROE. I could even show you how I would change that. So maybe I can show you how I would change that within the code. So let's see. So I would just choose peg, right? I would, instead of ROE, I would choose peg. And then I would look up here and be like, okay, what's the peg ratio? Okay, peg ratio. So let's go down here. Then update this. And then it should give me an analysis of the peg ratio. And it might give me like a random stock. So now it gave me Shopify. Shopify.to, Shopify is the, when was the report pulled? The date's 110, or the current price is 110. The 1 year target's 107. I mean, other people, basically at this point, people are saying it's overvalued, right? Because it's trading at 110. The target's 107. Right, so it's like $3 overvalued type of thing, and then it would give an analysis of whatever ratio I'm feeling like looking at. So right now it's looking at the peg ratio. Oh, did I make that too small? But now it's saying, okay, peg ratio 1.202 suggests that it might be fairly valued. What's the investment thesis? This one is saying Gemini's out here giving recommendations. What the heck? Hold recommendation driven by its robust platform. Come on. What information did I give you? You got no info. Does it have search? I don't know. But yeah, and then some investment risk. So that's how I've been leveraging that piece of learning how to code. That was kind of a tangent. But yeah, so that's that piece. I'm definitely trying to do it differently. I'm not sure if I'm doing it differently, really. Like, I feel, is everybody doing this? I want some advice from people who actually know how to code or learned it before, and that's kind of my method. So reading code, in my projects, if I have to, I'll generate code, and then before I copy and paste it, I make sure that I read it and understand what's going on at least a little bit, like 40%, right? I mean, I just started coding like a week ago, so I'm not going to be able to get 100% of the code. But yeah, so writing code, I generate a learning plan by taking a pic of that Python place, or like that Python roadmap, and then I would actually practice within my IDE rather than like an IDE from a website. So I know there's like other websites out there like Codecademy, Free Code Camp and stuff like that, where they teach you how to do it within the browser, I guess. I just want to do it in PyCharm because that's what I use. I mean, that's like what I'm going to be trying to be like an expert in, because that's what I'm going to try to use at my workplace. I think my brother uses VS Code. I don't know if I want to switch to that. Probably not, because I'm just a Python person. PyCharm, Python makes sense to be a PyCharm only person. I don't know. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. And then the generating code piece. So if I'm working on a project and I get stuck, and I kind of feel like, hey, my mind is starting to wander away from my project. I'm getting a little bit demotivated. I'm starting to lose my flow state. Then I hit the generate. Like I start generating code. And when I generate code, I'm really intentional with how I generate code. So I try to do it in minimal shots. So minimal shots. So what that means is I want to try to generate code with the least amount of dialogue with Chatgpt 4.0 as possible, so I can so I also improve my prompting abilities. And eventually, like sometimes I notice that if I give it examples, so what I do, so for example, if I want to pull Cant4 information, right, what I do is I go inspect, and then okay, if I was using Beautiful Soup, I would be like, hey, pull this information from this HTML, post it into here, and then it kind of could pull like that using Beautiful Soup, and then I would read the code. So that's just a sample of how I generate code. And then I've noticed that in some cases, if I just slam my head into this roadmap. So I'll show you this Python roadmap that I'm looking at. I notice if I just I go basic syntax, then so let's say if I go here, I do basic syntax, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this. If I just keep going at it, one right after the other, I start to not retain much. I start not to retain anything. So what I started to do is I pull this, like, for example, I would do like 3. So I would do this batch, then this batch, and then this batch. So once I get to the third batch, I do this again, and then I do this again, just to get a sense of it, just to refresh my memory, kind of for review. And then I start spamming, like I start moving on. So I go to this one, and then this one, and then this one. And then once I get an idea of those 3, then I go back and then review, like, how do I generate a module? Then how do I do the data structure? And then it's kind of like a 3-step forward, review 2 things, and then do 3 steps forward, review 2 things. And then I've noticed that I've been able to get at least a little bit better versus just doing like a 10-hour tutorial. Like, the thing that I'm very paranoid about with my learning progress is preventing myself from going into like a tutorial hell situation where I'm just like, I keep reading, I keep watching videos, and then I end up not doing any code. So really just taking a picture of this and then putting it into, let me open another Chatgpt, like getting the picture, and then literally me writing code and doing practice problems really helps out. So for example, this one, right? Modules, lambdas, decorators, iterators, regular expressions. It would show, okay, how do you import a module? How do you make a custom module and then bring it in? So from greet, import say hello, and then you're bringing in like from another module, right? You're learning how to define a function. You're learning how to call from another file. So things like that, I've noticed I learn better if I'm doing like the practice problem. So it would be like, hey, create a lambda function that takes 2 numbers and returns their product. I mean, this one wasn't very good. Like, it's not supposed to give me the answer, right? Like, I don't know why it's giving me the answer, but on most cases, it doesn't give me the answer, but I could just like re-engineer the prompt and not give me an answer. But yeah, that's how I really avoid tutorial hell. Like, I'm really making an effort to not get into that place. But yeah, so slowly but surely, I'm learning how to code, and then I'm applying that learning to make me a better investor by building projects that kind of inform me about the market, right? Like, obviously this report isn't really that sufficient to make investment decisions. Like, I'm looking at one ratio at a time, but I guess I could look at multiple ratios, right? I mean, let's try it out. Let's say I'm looking at maybe PEG and ROE, right? So let's do, actually, instead of PEG, let's take a look at revenue growth, right? So let's put rev growth. Okay, let me zoom in on that so you guys can see what I'm doing. So rev growth, and then I would just update the variable revenue growth, and then hopefully we'll put information about the PEG ratio as well as the revenue. Okay, it's doing Shopify again. Okay, let me run that back. Hopefully I get something other than Shopify or Enbridge. Oh, come on, Enbridge. What the heck? Royal Bank. Nice. But yeah, so it would pull Royal Bank, the Royal Bank of RBC, financial services company. What do? They do commercial banking, wealth management, insurance, investor, and capital. What's their company overview? They have stable prospects, yada, yada, yada. So now it's going over the PEG ratio. PEG ratio of 2.9% suggests that the stock might be overvalued. A PEG ratio above 1 is generally considered high. The revenue growth of 13% is moderate, but doesn't fully justify the elevated PEG. Wow. Okay. So now I'm looking at two different ratios at a time. And then what are the investment risks? What's the investment thesis? That over time will generate my financial knowledge, right? So if anybody wants this code in the description, hit me up. Or not hit me up, like talk to me in the comments, and then I'll just copy and paste the code there. But really, you can make this code yourself, right? Like it's not that tough. I don't know how to code, but I managed to do it today. Right? Like this morning. I mean, yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of how I'm doing it. It literally will take you an hour. It won't take you long. But yeah, so that's how I'm learning how to code as quick as possible. I notice if I just ram myself into this roadmap, I kind of I'm like, oh, what's the point of this? I'm a finance person. So like, if I switch into a project that's related to finance, I notice that I get more motivated and I start doing it again. Like I keep at it. But yeah, so reinforce. So that's the first. So let me go over. So I have a structured plan which is going through this. Then I do the read, write, and generate code concurrently, and then I do the reinforced learning by doing the 3 steps forward, 2 steps back approach. And then I build and review my mini projects. Like I'm not really planning to build a calculator portfolio tracker. Like that doesn't really seem fun to me. So instead I made like an equity research report emailer or I haven't made it. I kind of will make it, and hopefully I could send myself some emails. That would be really cool. And yeah, so what's the benefits of the strategy? Balancing reading and writing and generating, you build both theoretical knowledge and hands-on experience. Accelerated problem solving. So using LLMs for code generation and debugging exposes you to a range of solutions, making problem solving more intuitive. So I'm not sure how it was in the past because I just started coding, but I know that before you would have to go on GitHub, Stack Overflow, try to figure out like, hey, what's my problem? Do search. You're looking up 5 different solutions to the same thing, and not every solution is relevant. So it wastes a lot of your time. With LLM, you don't have to do a lot of search. Like you literally just say, hey, this code's not working, fix it. And then it would just come up with a solution. It would even tell you like, hey, this is the problem. Why isn't it working? So let me even try that right now. Let me see if I could show you. But yeah, like for example, this error, right? Let's see if it does anything. Why am I getting this error? Usually I would feed it the code too, but this error you're seeing, 404 client error. So I'm probably pulling like a ticker that doesn't exist. I'm just assuming a ticker, permission denied. The reason why is because like I have this CSV open, so it's not gonna print. But those are like the 2 main errors. So it kind of gives you that right away versus, okay, why am I getting like a permission error? Put it in Google. Usually like Google can you have to go through like 5 different links. With Chatgpt, you're only looking at 1. But yeah, so that's the accelerated problem solving piece, and then the continuous improvement. So Reading, writing, and generating is like an iterative approach and encourages progressive refinement and building coding proficiency. So let's say I didn't have ChatGPT, right? I wouldn't really know how to structure my code. So for this, like let's see how it would rewrite this, right? So let's say if I wanted to, this is code written by me, right? If I wanted to make this better, what would that look like? Make this code, apply best practices to this code. What, so explain what improvements were made. So it is basically like reviewing my work. To enhance this code, we can streamline some processes, improve readability, ensure consistency. So it's adding some comments. So I didn't have comments. Extracted ticker info once to avoid repetitive calls. I'm not sure what's going on there. It has like the same process that I'm doing, and then it displays the general information like a certain way, seemingly, and then this one a certain way. I wonder what the output is, but it seems like, okay, here's an example. I don't know. It's kind of being nitpicky, but like, look how I do it, right? So it's doing, I'm making a print statement with two double quotes and then this. Like, instead of doing that, I maybe should be doing this. I don't know. I guess, right? I guess. Maybe it's being nitpicky. Where else do convert to percentage? Okay. But yeah, like, I mean, it's generating kind of like the same process, right? But yeah, let's see if we could actually update the code. I don't know if this is my coding practice, but yeah, that's kind of like the cool part about it is I can literally read, write, and generate, work on projects, keep myself in flow state, keep myself within a certain structure without having to pay. I mean, I pay for ChatGPT 4.0. But yeah, please like and subscribe. If you have any advice, put it in the comments so I can learn. Like I'll be your guinea pig, right? I'll be your guinea pig. But until next time, thank you. Bye.